In this video, I want to talk about exactly what goes into making a $50,000 a month in an online business. Well, at least an online business like the type of business that I run, which is in the mentoring and online courses space. The reason why I wanted to make this video was because honestly, when I started my business, I was fascinated by the amount of money that individual people could make on the internet. No, it's not like these are big organizations. This is like just singular human beings making thousands, tens of thousands, multiple tens of thousands of dollars. And my mind just could not compute how someone could make that amount of money on the internet. And so I really started doing a lot of research as to like, how does someone make $50,000 a month on the internet? And whilst there were some people who were sharing like income reports, they generally were quite vague. It was just like, here's what I made and here's what I spent. And that frustrated me, to be honest. I wanted the details, right? And so that's exactly what you're getting in today's video. I really wanted to make this just a fun experience for us to sit down really transparently together and for me to go over exactly what goes into making $50,000 a month in an online business. And I want to talk about the granular details. I want to tell you exactly what it is that I've sold, how I sold those things, so like the marketing and sales strategies that went into that, as well as talk a little bit about the accumulation of what I've done in the past to get me towards this point. And yes, I will share with you exactly what I've spent in that month as well. So if you are interested in hanging out with me for a little while and just digging deep into the behind the scenes of my business, then let's get into it. Now, I have a bit of a disclaimer. This may seem unnecessary and it might be a bit boring, but I feel like I need to say it. Reason being is I understand there's a lot of skepticism around income on the internet. And don't worry, I get it. I get skeptical as well. Anyone can say anything, right? But the reason why I have chosen the month of May, so I'm gonna be going through exactly what I made in May, even though it's July right now. And you might be thinking, wow, is it because May was really high? No, it's actually because May is a representation of what the average is that I make in my business. So last year in my business, I made $600,000. Divide that by 12 and it's $50,000. The reason why I'm not sharing with you June, which was the most recent month, is because I was actually in a launch. So as you can see here, in the last 2 weeks, I've made $60,000. That is above average because I was actually launching something. And unfortunately, this is what people do. They take their really high income months and then they use that to talk about their income, but I don't want to give you the false representation that this is what I'm making all the time. What I made last year in my business was $600,000. And so if you divide that by 12, it was $50,000, and May was the closest, most recent month to that. I made $45,000 in May. And so that is why that is the month that we are going to be looking at. Now, before I get into jumping into the exact details of what I did in May to make $50,000, I want to talk a little bit about how I've even gotten to this point, because sometimes it's also easy to watch a video like this and be like, whoa, that person is like really successful. That must have happened really fast. I have been on the internet creating content for a long time. And I feel like that is the reason why I am where I am today with being able to make as much as I do with my online business. You know, and I believe in slow, sustainable growth. You will not see me on the internet shoving sales down your throat like they're going out of style. I really believe in the sustainability of building a brand. The way that I have personally scaled my business is through the accumulation, or the duplication, I should say, of myself. And what I mean by that is there is hundreds, if not thousands, of mini Erins all over the internet selling me and my business every single day. What do I mean by that? The content that I have created, every YouTube video, every podcast, it is out there. People can access it. And that is ultimately a big part of my marketing strategy, and why I'm able to make so many sales is because I have so many little versions of me out promoting myself on the internet. So I believe the longer that you do something, yes, the more you will be able to make without having to go into any really hectic sales strategies or advertising. I don't use any advertising to get to this point. I don't spend any money on ads. or without having to have really complicated funnels. It does require a little bit of patience, but to me, this is more sustainable. Why? Because a lot of people who do make really high income months in a lot of businesses similar to mine, if they stop, the money stops, because a lot of their strategy is based around constantly selling things. I am able to take a month off if I want, and I would still be able to generate sales in my business because my YouTube channel is doing the work for me. My podcast is doing the work for me. So the reason why I make the money that I make today, and you know, I really do proclaim like not working very hard. I just recently in May, I was actually traveling through Europe, maybe working like an hour a day. But the reason for that is obviously because it's the accumulation of everything that I've done slowly over time. Now, I have a very simple business model. It is essentially build an audience and sell them products and services. So a lot of my marketing efforts is going towards building a community on both my YouTube channel and my podcast, as well as then on Instagram. And then what I do is I develop products and services. I have at the moment, like say for example, one-on-one coaching. Well, we're gonna go through the products anyway, because that's essentially what the income report is. But I sell products and services in quite a simple way. Essentially, I'm either just directly selling on my social media, so just mentioning it when I'm creating content, or every so often, as I previously mentioned, I will do a launch for something like my group coaching program, where over a period of, let's say 2 to 4 weeks, I'm more actively communicating about that one particular thing. But May, I wasn't actually launching anything. May was a relatively normal month in my business, and so that's what we're going to be going through and breaking down exactly what I did, how I sold it, and also what I spent. So let's talk about my streams of income. So I'm gonna break down exactly how I made that money. So first stream of income is my membership. So I have a membership that is targeted towards people in early stages of business or anyone just wanting to sharpen their skills. It's individual masterclasses that are released every single month, just teaching on the various areas of business. So that membership in May made me $2,800. So that was my lowest income. Now, my second stream of income was income from one-on-one coaching. So I did sign a few new clients in May, and then I have some previous payment plans from previous clients. So the cash that was generated from both signing new clients and from previous clients was $16,338. Now, just to quickly explain the difference between cash and sales, what I'm talking about here is money that it's actually come into my bank. You know, even though a product may be priced at, let's say $10,000, some people do opt to go onto a payment plan. So they aren't actually giving you all of the cash up front, but breaking it down rather in monthly installments. So I may sell $30,000 worth of coaching packages, but only receive $15,000 of that in one particular month for cash. Now, the next the next stream of income was income from new course sales. So the two products in particular that I'm speaking about is my course Influencer Vibes, which is all about building an audience, building an online engaged community and building a brand. And then I have my group coaching program, Simply Business, which I did just get a few early bird sales in the month of May, even though I officially launched it in June and July. But the income from new course sales, so this is new money, not money from previous students or previous payment plans, but new money that came into the business, was $14,590. And then the fourth income stream is what I call money from MRR. So this is money from previous launches or previous people who've purchased. So they didn't actually purchase in the month of May, but their payment plans are giving me what's called MRR, so monthly reoccurring revenue, so all of the payments that are coming in from previous purchases, which was $11,183. Now, there is a slight discrepancy between that and like the $45,000 that I made in May, and that is just from various things such as YouTube and other small payments that I receive straight to my bank account that don't come through. I only looked at Stripe and PayPal. But that was the bulk of where my income came from. So my membership, new one-on-one coaching clients, income from new course sales, and income from MRR. So then particularly looking at like the clients that I sold spaces to, as well as the new course sales, what was the marketing that I did around that? Well, again, obviously I want to draw attention to the fact that I already have an audience, but even still, having an audience is sometimes not enough. You do still need to sell to that audience. So in this month, I had like 3 big things that I did that brought in clients and customers. So I was actually traveling. I didn't do a lot of marketing. I didn't actually work a whole lot. There were some days that I didn't work at all. I took no client calls or anything like that. But as I was driving through Germany, I did a live and sent out an email talking about my one-on-one coaching, which actually signed the 2 clients that did sign up that brought in that income, as well as I did receive a few course sales, both because at the beginning of May, I was doing the price is going up reminder to people around my Influencer Vibes course. And then later in the month, I actually did a live, which was a really powerful live on my Instagram when I was on a Barcelonian rooftop, and I was talking about the program, and that saw a lot of sales coming in as well. So I, again, have accumulated my audience over time, but it was just through a few different small sales efforts that I was able to make quite a few new sales this month in my business. And then obviously that MRR just comes from previous things that I'd done, like previous launches or previous things that had sold people in the past. So I want to talk about my expenses in my business in May. However, one thing I am going to leave out is my travel expenses, because it's an uncommon expense. I want to talk about my more standard expenses that I have in my business. So there are, my normal expenses are honestly about $26,000 every single month. A big portion of that goes to my own personal wage. So I pay myself $10,000 a month. So $10,000 of the $26,000 that I spend generally on a month-to-month basis is coming straight to me in my personal bank account. Now, with that, I also have to pay personal tax, as well as superannuation, which is a retirement fund here in Australia. I also do pay my rent for my house out of my business, and then a small amount of that is deducted for personal living. So my pay, my super, my tax, and my rent is coming out of that $26,000. The biggest business expense that I do have is business tax, so how much tax the business does have to pay, as well as freelancers. So I've got about 4 people working for me on a freelance basis. So freelancers are the biggest expense in my business. The other expenses are systems and software, so things such as Teachable, ConvertKit, MemberSpace. I use a bunch of different softwares in my business, as well as in May, I did spend some money on education, or my own investments, I should say, hiring coaches, purchasing courses and stuff like that. I also do make donations every single month. So I'm donating money to, I work with a charity called One Girl. So I send money to that. And then every so often I will send it to particular causes that are happening in the world at that time. So those are the primary expenses in my business. My business is fairly low cost, other than the fact that I pay myself a lot because I want to buy a new house. So I need to send myself money to do so, if that makes sense. That's it. That's my business. That is my business in a nutshell. Now you can see what it looks like, how much I made last year, my general expenses, how much I pay myself. Maybe I didn't know that much. And exactly what it looks like. Remember, for me, it really is about the accumulation, the content creation, and the sales strategies that I have. I have an audience here that are ultimately primed and ready to buy because of the brand that I have built. I don't have any crazy sales strategies, complicated marketing funnels. I'm not about hustling every single day and always having an offer to sell. Some days I like to just chill out. This particular month, I was traveling through Europe. I was chilling out and I was partying. I was at festivals, but I was still able to make a good amount of money in my business with the accumulation of the work that got me to this point. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I would love to answer any questions that you do have about my income. Again, I'm totally transparent. I have absolutely nothing to hide. I will answer any questions that anyone has. So please leave them in the comments below. If you have constructive feedback, if you want to celebrate, if you don't believe me, that's fine too. Leave all the comments because leave all your comments below because either way, it really does help out my channel. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you do want to learn a little bit more about business, you can reach out to me on Instagram. As I've mentioned here, I've got a range of different offers ranging from my $22 a month membership to my one-on-one coaching packages. If you are wanting to learn how to build a personal brand-based business, totally reach out to me. I will link my Instagram below. We can have a chat about what is right for you. I really appreciate your time and I'll see you in the next one.